I never believed the past could truly haunt someone until I came back to my hometown. After years of living in the city, far away from the memories I tried so hard to bury, I thought I was ready to face the ghosts of yesterday. But as soon as I set foot in this place, I realized not all ghosts were metaphors. Some were real. The streets looked the same, narrow, quiet, wrapped in shadows of old trees whose branches twisted like claws reaching for the sky. The houses leaned against each other, weary from decades of secrets they had silently witnessed. I walked past the abandoned playground where laughter used to echo. Now it was nothing but rust and silence. And then there was the house at the end of the lane. My old house. The one I swore I'd never enter again. Inside those walls lived memories of betrayal. Memories of a friend who destroyed me. Her name was Lily. My best friend since childhood. My sister in everything but blood. Until one night, she became the knife that cut my world apart. I don't like to remember the details. The fight, the lies, the blood on my hands, and her scream that still echoes in my sleep. I never told anyone what really happened that night. Not the police. Not my parents. Not even myself. I buried it deep, hoping time would erase it. But time doesn't erase. It waits. The first night back, I stayed in a guest house near the outskirts of town. The air was colder than I remembered, sharp enough to sting. I couldn't sleep. The creak of the old floorboards kept me awake, as if footsteps were moving through the hallway. Around midnight, the lights flickered. That's when I heard it. A whisper. Soft, broken, but unmistakable. "Why did you do it?" I froze. My heart slammed against my ribs, and the shadows in the room seemed to crawl closer. I told myself it was my imagination, nothing more. But when I looked into the mirror hanging on the wall, I saw her. Lily. Standing right behind me. Her skin was pale, lips bloodless, eyes hollow black pools that reflected nothing. And where her chest should have been whole, there was a dark wound, still bleeding as if fresh. I spun around, but the room was empty. The air smelled like rust and earth, like the night she died. I grabbed my bag, ready to run, but my legs refused to move. The whisper came again, closer this time, brushing against my ear. "You betrayed me." I couldn't take it. I screamed, the sound ripping through the silence of the night. And just like that, she was gone. The next morning, the innkeeper looked at me with tired eyes. "Rough night?" she asked. I tried to laugh it off, but my voice shook. "Yeah, just couldn't sleep." She nodded knowingly. "They say the dead don't rest here. Especially the ones who died, unfairly." Her words cut deeper than she realized. I didn't reply. Instead, I packed my things and left. But as I walked through the town, I saw something carved into the bark of a tree near the playground. Words that weren't there years ago. "You can't run from me." My breath caught in my throat. The letters were fresh, almost wet, as if someone had just scratched them in. And as I turned, I saw her again. Lily. Standing among the trees, smiling with teeth too sharp, her hands dripping red. This wasn't just memory. This was haunting. And she wasn't going to stop. I didn't want to believe it. I told myself that what I saw last night was nothing but a trick of exhaustion, a hallucination after years of guilt gnawing at my conscience. But deep down, I knew better. Lily wasn't gone. Not completely. She was here, somewhere between the world of the living and the dead, waiting for me. I tried to distract myself by walking through town, but everywhere I went, reminders of her were etched into the air. The bakery we used to skip school to visit. The bus stop where we laughed until sunset. The old well near the rice fields where she once swore she heard voices whispering. I remembered teasing her for being paranoid. Now, the joke was on me. When the sun dipped low, painting the sky in bruised shades of purple, I found myself wandering back toward my childhood home. I hadn't planned to go there, but my feet carried me like they had a will of their own. The house stood crooked against the twilight, windows like empty eyes watching my every move. The front door creaked open before I even touched it. I hesitated, every instinct screaming at me to turn around. But some stubborn part of me wanted answers. I stepped inside. The air was heavy, damp with the scent of mold and old wood. Dust clung to every corner, yet the living room table had something new on it. A single wilted flower, placed neatly in the center. Lily's favorite. Jasmine. I felt my chest tighten. This isn't real, I whispered to myself. But then I heard it. Footsteps. Upstairs. Slow, dragging. As if someone was pulling themselves across the floor. My heart raced, but I climbed the staircase anyway. Each step groaned beneath me. The second-floor hallway was darker than I remembered, the wallpaper peeling like rotting skin. My old bedroom door was ajar. And inside, I saw her. Lily sat on the edge of my childhood bed. Her back faced me, her long black hair cascading down, matted and wet. She swayed slightly, humming the lullaby we used to sing as kids. The same lullaby I heard the night she died. Lily. The name escaped me before I could stop it. She froze. The humming stopped. Slowly she turned her head, not her body, just her head, twisting far too much for anything human. Her face was pale, lips torn, eyes wide and soulless. "You came back," she whispered, her voice both hers and not hers, layered with something deeper, something monstrous. I couldn't move. My throat tightened as she rose from the bed, her body jerking unnaturally, bones cracking with every step. "You left me there," she hissed. "Alone. In the dark." I backed away, my legs shaking. I didn't mean to. It wasn't supposed to happen. Her grin stretched unnaturally wide. "Lies. You wanted me gone. And now, I'm here forever." The lights flickered violently, the room spinning. Suddenly, the walls bled with black liquid that dripped onto the floor, spreading toward me. I turned and ran. The stairs seemed longer than before, the shadows chasing me with whispering voices. Traitor, liar, murderer. When I finally burst out of the house, gasping for air, the night was colder than ice. My vision blurred with tears. I stumbled down the street until I collapsed near the old well. That's when I heard her again, closer than ever. "Do you remember at the well?" she asked, her voice drifting from the darkness. "You said you'd protect me. You promised. But when I needed you, you chose yourself." I gripped the stones of the well, my knuckles white. "I'm sorry," I whispered. "I'm so sorry." The wind howled, carrying laughter that wasn't human. A hand, cold, wet, skeletal, shot out from inside the well and grabbed my wrist. I screamed, yanking away, stumbling backward. The well was silent again, as if nothing had happened. But on my skin, a mark remained, dark, bruise-like fingerprints burned into my flesh. This wasn't just haunting. This was a curse. I staggered back to the guest house, my body trembling. When I locked the door behind me, I slumped to the floor, trying to steady my breathing. I thought maybe I'd get a moment's peace. But the mirror on the wall rippled like water. And from it, Lily stepped out. Her eyes locked onto mine, glowing faintly red now. She crouched, her face inches from mine. The stench of earth and rot filled the air. "You can't escape me," she whispered. "Not in this world. Not in the next." Before I could scream, she vanished again. The room was empty, but the air remained poisoned with her presence. That night, I didn't sleep. Every shadow seemed to breathe. Every silence was filled with her whispers. I realized something terrifying. Lily didn't just want to haunt me. She wanted me to join her. The days that followed blurred into one another. I barely ate, barely spoke, and when I tried to sleep, my dreams dissolved into nightmares that felt too real. Every night, she was there. Lily, waiting in the corner of my room, her head tilted, her smile wide enough to split her face. But it wasn't just the nights anymore. In daylight, I caught glimpses of her reflection in windows, or her shadow moving against the walls when there was no one near. The whispers in my head grew louder, drowning out even my own thoughts. Traitor. Liar. Murderer. I told myself I was losing my mind. Maybe I deserved it. But when my body began betraying me, I knew it wasn't madness, it was her. It started small. My hands shook violently whenever I held anything sharp, like scissors or knives. Then, one morning, I woke to find long scratches across my arms. Marks I didn't remember making. My fingernails were caked with dried blood. That day, the innkeeper stared at me too long. "You look pale," she said gently. "Are you ill?" "I just haven't been sleeping." She hesitated, then lowered her voice. "Sometimes, the spirits here. They cling to the guilty. They use them. They eat at them until nothing is left." Her words left me cold. I laughed it off, but inside, I felt the truth of it. Lily wasn't just haunting me. She was inside me. That evening, I tried to leave town. I packed my bag, paid my bill, and boarded the bus heading for the city. I sat near the back, relief slowly easing the knot in my chest. Maybe distance would weaken her hold. Maybe I could outrun this curse. But as the bus rumbled down the empty road, the air inside grew heavy. The passengers around me shifted uneasily, as though a storm was building in the enclosed space. The lights flickered, and in the faint glow, I saw her, sitting directly across from me. Her head rested against the window, but her eyes were open, dead, glassy, staring directly into mine. Her lips curled into that impossible smile. No one else seemed to notice her. Not the driver. Not the old woman dozing beside me. Only me. I gripped the seat, forcing myself not to scream. But then the whispers started again, crawling into my skull. "Join me. Let me in. You owe me." Suddenly, my body convulsed. My hands moved on their own, clenching into fists so tight my nails cut into my palms. My throat burned as words spilled out of my mouth in a voice that wasn't mine. "You killed me," the voice hissed. "Now I will wear you." Passengers turned, startled. Some crossed themselves, others muttered prayers. The bus driver shouted for me to calm down, but I couldn't. My body wasn't mine anymore. My arms lashed out, my voice a guttural growl. For a moment, I saw through my own eyes, saw my reflection in the window. My face was pale, my eyes pitch black, my mouth twisted into her smile. And then, just as suddenly, it stopped. I collapsed onto the bus floor, gasping for air. The passengers recoiled, whispering about me like I was diseased. The driver pulled over and ordered me off. No arguments, no sympathy, just fear. I stumbled into the night, abandoned on the side of the road. The bus roared away, leaving me in silence. Or almost silence. Because she was still there, laughing softly in the dark. I don't remember how I got back to the town, only that I ended up standing once again in front of the old well. The bruise-like marks on my wrist throbbed painfully, pulsing like a heartbeat. "Stop fighting," her voice murmured, this time not from outside but from within me. "You can't escape. I'll take what you stole." My vision blurred. The world swayed. My legs moved without my command, carrying me toward the edge of the well. I tried to resist, to dig my heels into the earth, but my body ignored me. I looked down into the black void, the cold air rising up like a whisper. And in that darkness, I saw her face staring back. Not the pale, twisted ghost. Not the thing she had become. But Lily, alive, smiling, like the girl I once knew. "Come," she whispered. "Be with me again. Forever." Tears burned in my eyes. "Lily, I'm sorry. I didn't want this. I didn't mean to." Her smile sharpened. "Then give me your body. Let me live again." The pull was overwhelming. My hands gripped the stones of the well, my body leaning forward, ready to fall. But then, in the distance, a voice broke through the haze. "Stop." I turned, or rather, my body turned, against her will. A figure stood at the edge of the trees, holding a lantern. It was the innkeeper. Her face was grim, eyes steady with something I hadn't expected. Courage. You don't belong here, she called, her voice firm. And you, her gaze locked onto me. You must not give in. If you let her in completely, you will be gone. The whispers inside me roared, furious. My head throbbed as Lily screamed from within. Don't listen. She doesn't understand us. You and I are one. I collapsed to the ground, clawing at the earth, torn between two forces, my will and hers. My nails dug into the dirt until blood seeped from my fingers. The innkeeper rushed forward, pressing something into my hand. A small charm, old and worn, shaped like a circle with symbols I couldn't read. Hold it, she said firmly. Do not let go. The charm burned against my skin, a sharp, searing heat. The whispers faltered, her hold loosening for the first time. I gasped, finally able to move my body again. The innkeeper knelt beside me, her eyes kind but filled with warning. She's not just a ghost, she whispered. She's something darker now. If you don't face what happened, she'll consume you. I looked back at the well, where the shadows swirled violently. Lily's distorted voice rose from the depths, a scream of rage and sorrow. I'm not done with you, she promised. The night swallowed her scream, but I knew it was true. This was far from over. The charm burned against my palm for hours after that night, as though it carried a piece of fire within it. I didn't let go, not even when my hand blistered. It was the only thing that kept her whispers from filling me completely. The innkeeper, her name was Marta, sat with me until dawn. She didn't ask questions, but her silence demanded answers. And for the first time in years, I told someone the truth. I didn't mean to kill her, I whispered, my voice shaking. We fought that night. About things I don't even remember clearly. She accused me of betrayal. I shouted back. Then she slipped. She hit her head on the stones near the well. I panicked. I didn't call for help. I was scared. So I ran. Marta's expression didn't change, though her eyes softened with something like pity. You left her to die. The words pierced me deeper than any ghostly whisper ever could. I nodded, tears burning my eyes. Yes, I left her. And she hasn't forgiven me. Marta sighed. That's why she clings to you. It isn't only revenge. It's the bond you shared, twisted into something monstrous. You were her closest friend, and her greatest betrayal. I shivered. Then how do I stop her? Her gaze grew distant. You may not be able to. Some spirits don't want release. They want replacement. The thought made my stomach lurch. Replacement. She didn't want peace. She wanted me. My body, my life. That night, I returned to the old house, driven by something stronger than fear. If I wanted this to end, I had to face her where it began. The house was darker than before, the air thicker. As I stepped inside, the walls seemed to breathe, pulsing faintly like veins. The jasmine flower on the table had rotted into black mush, flies buzzing above it. I climbed the stairs, every step a drumbeat in my chest. My old room was waiting, the door wide open as if inviting me. Inside, the air was colder. The walls were covered in words scratched by invisible hands. Liar. Murderer. Mine. And in the center of the room stood Lily. She looked different now. Not just pale and broken, but whole. Her skin smooth, her hair neat, her face alive again. For a moment, she looked like the friend I once loved. Do you remember this room? She asked softly. Her voice was human again, almost kind. We used to stay up all night, whispering secrets. We promised we'd never betray each other. My throat tightened. I remember. Her smile faltered. But you did. I flinched. I was scared. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want you to die. Then why didn't you save me? Her voice cracked, rage seeping in. Why did you run? The room shook, the walls trembling with her anger. Her body flickered between the girl I remembered and the corpse she had become. Skin torn, eyes black, chest bleeding. "I loved you like a sister," she screamed, her voice echoing in layers. "And you abandoned me." I fell to my knees, tears streaming down my face. "I know. I was a coward. I'll never forgive myself. But please, Lily, stop this. Let me make it right." Her eyes narrowed. "There is only one way to make it right." She stepped closer, her hand reaching out. Cold seeped into the air, frost forming on the windows. "Give me your body, your life. Then we'll be together again." I staggered back, clutching the charm Marta had given me. It burned hotter as Lily's hand reached for me, the light from it flaring against the darkness. She shrieked, recoiling, her skin sizzling as if burned by sunlight. "You can't keep me out forever," she screeched. "You are mine." The room shattered into chaos. The mirror cracked, the floor split, the air thick with shadows. I stumbled out, gasping, as the house groaned like it was alive. At the bottom of the stairs, I collapsed. Marta was waiting at the doorway, lantern in hand. She pulled me out just as the front door slammed shut on its own. We stood in the cold night, the house looming behind us like a beast. "She's stronger now," Marta said grimly. "Every time you see her, every time you listen, you give her power. If you keep running, she'll win." I looked at my blistered hand, the charm glowing faintly. "Then what do I do?" Marta's eyes locked on mine. "You go back to where it happened. To the well. You face her truth. Only then will you know if you survive, or if she takes you." The next night, I stood once again before the old well. The moon was high, casting silver light over the stones. The bruise-like marks on my wrist throbbed in rhythm with my heartbeat. I leaned over, peering into the darkness. The air was colder here, the silence heavy. My reflection shimmered faintly on the black water. And then, her voice rose from the depths. "Come down to me." The water rippled, and her face appeared, Lily, alive, smiling. Her hand reached up from the surface, impossibly long fingers stretching toward me. I gripped the charm tightly. "No, not this time." Her smile twisted. "Then I'll come to you." The ground shook, the air splitting with her scream. From the well, she surged upward, her body crawling out like a spider, her hair dripping with black water, her eyes blazing red. I stumbled back as she emerged, fully formed, towering over me. Not just a ghost anymore, but something worse, something that had crossed the boundary of death. "This is your punishment," she hissed. "Your betrayal brought me here. Now I'll never leave you." The night swallowed her words, but I knew she meant them. The final confrontation had begun. The night was silent, except for the sound of the wind rushing through the trees. I stood before the old well, trembling, the charm in my hand glowing faintly as if warning me. Across from me stood Lily, or whatever she had become. Her form shimmered between the girl I once knew and the creature that haunted my nights. At times she looked like the smiling friend I loved. At others, her skin tore open, black water dripping from wounds that would never heal. "You cannot run anymore," she said, her voice layered, half hers, half something darker. "It ends tonight." I raised the charm, though my hand shook violently. "I won't let you take me." Her laugh was low, guttural. "You think you have a choice? I was there when you left me. I felt the cold take me. I screamed for you. But you ran. I will never forgive you. And now, I will never leave you." The ground trembled beneath us, the well groaning like a throat clearing for the last word. The air stank of rot and soil. I could hear whispers all around me. Dozens of voices, perhaps the others who had died here, dragged into her darkness. Marta had warned me this would come. Face her truth. Or be consumed. I dropped to my knees, tears spilling. "Lily, I was wrong. I was weak. I should have stayed. I should have helped you. If you need my life, then take it. Just let me see you one last time as my friend." Not this monster. For a moment, her face softened. She looked like the girl from our childhood, the one who used to braid my hair, who laughed under the summer rain. Her eyes filled with something like sorrow. You left me, she whispered again, but this time her voice cracked with pain, not anger. Yes, I said, my chest tight. I left you. And I'll never forgive myself. But if you take me, will it make you whole? Will it erase what happened? Her expression shifted, twisted, her smile sharp as glass. No. But it will make you mine. She lunged forward. I raised the charm, its light flaring like fire. Her body screamed, twisting violently, smoke rising from her skin. For a moment, I thought I had won. For a moment, I thought the charm could drive her away. But then her eyes blazed red, and she roared, a sound that split the night. Her hand shot forward, gripping my chest, not flesh, but deeper, pulling at something unseen. My soul. The pain was unbearable, white hot, like fire ripping through my veins. My body convulsed as she pulled me closer, her face inches from mine. You belong to me, she hissed. I felt myself slipping, the world spinning away. My fingers loosened, the charm falling to the ground. Its light flickered, dimmed. No! I gasped, fighting, clawing at her arm. I won't. I won't. But I was weak. So weak. The last thing I saw was her smile stretching impossibly wide as she whispered, "Forever." Darkness swallowed me whole. When I opened my eyes, the world was quiet again. Too quiet. I looked around, the well, the trees, the night sky, but everything felt wrong. The air was heavy, and my body moved without effort, without resistance. I touched my face. My skin was cold, damp. My hands were pale, thinner than I remembered. My reflection shimmered faintly in the black water of the well. And what I saw wasn't me. It was her. Lily smiled back from the water's surface, her eyes alive, her face whole, her body restored. She had taken me. I tried to scream, but no sound came. My voice wasn't mine anymore. From the darkness within, I heard her laughter, joyful, triumphant. I told you, we'd be together again. I pounded against the walls of my mind, desperate to break free, but my body no longer answered to me. I was trapped, a prisoner in my own flesh. And she was the one wearing my face. Days later, the townspeople whispered about me, the stranger who came back and changed overnight. My eyes were different now, they said. My smile was unsettling. Some swore I walked the streets at midnight, humming a lullaby no one dared to remember. Marta avoided me after that night. She saw through the mask. She knew the truth. But she also knew she could do nothing. Because Lily had won. And I, the traitor, the coward who ran, would spend eternity locked inside my own body, forced to watch as she lived again through me. Epilogue. At the well, the water remains black, the stones cold. Travelers say if you lean too close, you'll hear voices rising from the depths, screams of those who never escaped. And if you listen long enough, you'll hear one voice louder than the rest. A voice begging, crying, desperate for release. Mine.